The alien girl walked slowly through the human colony, her bright eyes filled with endless curiosity. She was young, adventurous, and always asking questions that others were too shy to ask. For her people, humans were still new and strange, a mystery from a distant world. Every sound, every smell, every action in this colony felt different from what she knew. She stopped near the marketplace where humans were gathered. There were stalls filled with colorful fruits, baked bread, and steaming pots of food. The air smelled warm, mixed with spice, sweetness, and something she could not name. Children laughed as they ran between the stalls, holding small cups in their hands. The alien girl tilted her head, watching closely. At one corner, she noticed a human male, tall, with kind eyes and strong arms. He was busy cooking for the children, stirring a pot with one hand while handing out cups with the other. The cups were filled with a white liquid, smooth and shiny under the light. The children drank with happy faces, wiping their lips. The alien girl frowned, her curiosity burning even stronger. In her culture, milk was something sacred. It was produced only by mothers for their young. The idea of anyone else giving milk was unthinkable. She stepped closer, her eyes locked on the human male. She whispered to herself, then louder than she expected. "Wait, human males produce milk too?" Her voice carried across the market. The children giggled, the nearby humans turned their heads. The chef froze for a moment, spoon still in his hand. The alien girl stepped forward with excitement. She pointed at the white drink in the children's cups. "You gave this to them, yes? It is milk, yes? Then it must be from you." Her words were filled with confidence, as if she had uncovered a great truth. The humans around burst into laughter, some covering their mouths, but she was serious. And more serious than ever. The chef blinked, unsure whether to laugh or panic. No, he tried to say, but the alien girl did not listen. Her culture taught her that males never produce such things, yet here was a male human handing out milk to many children. To her, the answer was clear. She stepped even closer, her voice louder now. "Show me. You are hiding the truth." She reached toward him, as if ready to pull at his clothes. The humans gasped. Some shouted, children squealed with laughter. The chef jumped back, his face red, waving his hands. "Wait, no, you misunderstand," he said quickly, but the alien girl refused to stop. To her, this was the discovery of the century, a hidden ability of humans that no one else in the galaxy had spoken of. Her heart raced. Her mind spun with ideas. If human males could give milk, what else were they hiding? Could this be the secret to their strength? Could this be why humans survived in harsh places where other species failed? The marketplace filled with noise, laughter mixed with shouts. The alien girl was determined, the chef was embarrassed, and all around them, more humans gathered to watch, some shaking their heads, others whispering. Children shouted, "Prove it, prove it," turning the scene into chaos. The alien girl's voice cut through the noise. "You cannot lie to me. I will tell everyone." Her eyes burned with the thrill of discovery. The chef tried to explain, but no one was listening anymore. What started as a small misunderstanding was quickly growing into something much larger. The alien girl clenched her fists, determined not to leave until she had her answer. She did not realize the storm of rumors she was about to create. The truth was simple, yet the misunderstanding was powerful. And sometimes, a single question could shake an entire colony. Her last words of the day echoed in the air. "Humans hide their secrets well, but not from me," she said proudly. The crowd laughed again, but deep inside, some were beginning to wonder if she was right, what else were humans hiding? The stage was set, curiosity had been sparked, and the galaxy was about to hear of this strange and shocking claim. The next morning, the human colony was buzzing with whispers. Everywhere the alien girl went, she heard laughter behind her back. Some pointed at her, others covered their mouths and smiled. But she walked proudly because in her heart she believed she had uncovered the greatest human secret. She returned to the marketplace where the same human chef was serving breakfast. Children waved at him, women thanked him, men shook his hand. The alien girl frowned, wondering why no one seemed shocked like her. She pushed through the crowd until she stood in front of him again. "You cannot escape me," she declared, her voice serious. The humans nearby turned to watch, curious about what she would say next. "You gave milk yesterday, and you will explain today," she demanded. The chef groaned softly, scratching his head. His face showed both annoyance and nervousness. "Listen," he said, "you are mistaken. This milk does not come from me. The alien girl narrowed her eyes, shaking her head. You lie. I saw it with my own eyes. You served it with your own hands. Her voice rose, sharp and full of certainty. More humans gathered around, forming a circle. The children began chanting, "Milkman, milkman," laughing loudly. The chef waved his hands, embarrassed. It's not like that, he tried to explain, but the alien girl would not let him speak. Her culture had taught her that truth was hidden in denial, and the louder he protested, the more guilty he seemed. Your secret is safe with me, she said suddenly, lowering her voice. Her eyes sparkled with a dangerous kind of curiosity. But I must know. How do you do it? Is it a gift of your species? Is it a weapon? Her question sent ripples of shock through the humans standing nearby. Some whispered to each other nervously, while others laughed harder. The chef sighed, knowing he was trapped in a situation that was growing out of control. He reached for a jug on his table and lifted it for her to see. This milk comes from cows, not from me, he said firmly. But his words only confused her more. Cows? She repeated, tilting her head. You steal milk from another creature? Gasps spread through the alien spectators who had now joined the humans. To them, the idea was horrifying. Milk was sacred, a gift of life from mother to child. And here was a human male claiming to take it from animals. The alien girl stepped back, her face pale, her mind swirled with strange thoughts. Was this human lying to cover the truth? Or was it possible that humans were so powerful they could bend other creatures to produce food for them? Her voice shook but grew louder. You enslave animals to feed your young? You turn mothers into servants? The crowd roared with mixed emotions. Some humans shouted back, some aliens gasped in anger. The chef tried to calm everyone down. No, you don't understand. We care for our cows. We feed them, protect them. We don't. But his words were drowned by the growing noise. The alien girl raised her hands dramatically, pointing at him. Then I challenge you, she shouted. Prove that you are not lying. Prove that this milk is not your own. The entire marketplace fell into silence. The humans stared, the aliens leaned closer. The chef's face turned red, his eyes wide with shock. How could he prove something so absurd? How could he explain human farming traditions to a crowd that refused to believe? The alien girl's voice echoed through the marketplace. If you refuse, it will mean you hide the truth, and I will tell every world about the secret power of humans. The crowd erupted again, louder than before. Some shouted for proof, others laughed, but many were uncertain. The seed of doubt had been planted in their minds, and once planted, it would grow. The alien girl stood firm, her eyes blazing with determination. She believed she was fighting for the truth. She believed she was protecting her people from a secret weapon. The chef raised his hands helplessly, realizing he could not walk away anymore. The misunderstanding had turned into something bigger, something dangerous. And before the day was over, the entire colony would be forced to choose whether they believed the alien girl's shocking claim or the human chef's desperate denial. By the next sunrise, the rumor had already escaped the marketplace. The alien girl had told her closest friends about the secret of human males, and her words spread like fire through dry grass. Within hours, every street, every corner, every home in the colony buzzed with the same question. Do human males really make milk? The humans woke to strange looks from their alien neighbors. Some smiled nervously, others whispered behind their backs. Children pointed at men walking by, giggling and chanting, "Milkman, milkman." The colony, once peaceful, was now drowning in whispers and doubt. The alien girl stood proudly among her people. Her voice carried authority because she had witnessed it herself. I saw it with my own eyes, she told them. The human male gave milk to many children, and when I asked, he tried to hide the truth. Gasps followed her every word, and each gasp turned into another wave of rumor. The human chef, meanwhile, tried to continue his work. He cooked, he served, he cleaned, but every move he made was watched with suspicion. When he poured milk into a cup, the crowd leaned forward. When he smiled at the children, the aliens muttered among themselves. It no longer mattered what he said. People only believed what they wanted to believe. The misunderstanding had grown into something much larger. Alien scientists debated in quiet rooms. If human males truly produce milk, it meant humans had hidden biology. It could mean enhanced survival, hidden evolution, or even genetic engineering. One scientist whispered, "If this is true, humanity may be more dangerous than we ever imagined." Back in the market, the alien girl gathered a group of listeners. She told them about her encounter, exaggerating the details without realizing it. "He grew nervous when I questioned him. His face turned red, his hands shook. He tried to run," she declared. To her people, those signs meant guilt, not embarrassment. Every word she spoke painted humans as a species hiding a dangerous gift. The humans grew restless. They argued among themselves. Should they laugh it off or take it seriously? Some said, "It is only a silly rumor. It will fade." Others warned, "No, this is dangerous. Lies can become truth if repeated enough." The chef sat alone that night, his head in his hands. He never thought serving children a cup of milk could bring so much chaos. On the third day, alien leaders called for a meeting. The council chamber filled with both humans and aliens. The atmosphere was thick with suspicion, voices low and sharp. The alien girl stood in the center, pointing at the chef. "He must prove the truth before us all," she demanded. The alien leaders nodded, their eyes cold. For them, this was no longer about curiosity. It was about trust and control. The chef's voice cracked as he tried to explain. "This milk comes from cows, animals we raise with care, animals that give more than enough for our families." But his words only fueled the fire. The aliens hissed and murmured. "You force creatures to give life for your own survival," one said. "You drink from another species as if it were your own child," another added. The misunderstanding twisted deeper. To the aliens, humans no longer seemed strange. They seemed monstrous. If human males could take milk from animals, maybe they could do worse. Maybe they had other secrets, darker secrets, hidden beneath their smiles. By evening, the colony was divided, half whispered in laughter, treating the rumor as a joke. The other half looked at humans with fear in their eyes, and fear, once planted, grows faster than truth. The alien girl, standing before her people, raised her voice once again. "If they hide this, what else are they hiding? We must not trust them until we know the full truth." Her words carried weight. They sparked doubt even in those who had once called humans friends. The chef walked home in silence. He felt the eyes of the colony on his back. Every glance was heavy, every whisper sharp, and in his heart he knew that this was only the beginning. The misunderstanding had become a movement, and soon it would force the humans to face the colony in a way they had never expected. The night fell heavy on the colony. Fires burned in the streets as aliens gathered in small groups. The words, "human males make milk," echoed again and again. A rumor born from curiosity had turned into suspicion, and suspicion was now turning into fear. The story was no longer just the alien girl's mistake. It had become a question that demanded an answer from every human. And by morning, the colony leaders would demand proof in front of the entire settlement. The alien girl smiled faintly as she prepared for sleep. To her, she had done something important. She believed she was protecting her people, but she had no idea how far her words would reach. No idea that this single rumor would travel beyond the colony. No idea that ships in orbit were already receiving reports. No idea that the galaxy itself was beginning to whisper the same shocking question. The council hall was filled with heavy silence. Every seat was taken, every corner crowded with humans and aliens alike. Torches burned against the walls, shadows dancing across the chamber. At the center stood the alien girl, her chin raised, her eyes sharp. Beside her stood the human chef, his shoulders tense, his face pale. The leader of the alien council rose slowly, his voice echoing through the hall. "The colony demands truth," he said firmly. "Rumors cannot guide us, but proof will." His gaze turned to the human chef, cold and unblinking. "You will show us now whether human males truly make milk." Gasps swept across the chamber, whispers rising like waves. Some aliens leaned forward eagerly, ready to see the secret revealed. Others frowned, fearing what they might discover. The humans sat stiffly, their hearts pounding with unease. They knew this was madness, but the rumor had grown too strong. The chef swallowed hard, his hands shaking. He held up a jug of milk, the same one he used for the children. "This is cow's milk," he said, his voice strained but steady. "We raise animals who give this freely. We do not—" The alien girl cut him off, her voice sharp. "Lies," she shouted. "You bring a jug to distract us, but yesterday you gave it with your own hands." The crowd roared, some cheering her words, others calling for silence. The chamber felt ready to burst with tension. The alien leader raised his hand. The room quieted. "Enough words," he said. "Demonstrate." The chef's heart nearly stopped. Demonstrate? How could he demonstrate such a thing? The request was impossible, absurd, humiliating, yet the eyes of the entire colony were upon him. He tried once more, desperation in his tone. "You don't understand. Humans cannot produce milk. Only our women can. And even then, only for their children. This comes from cows, creatures we care for, creatures who live with us." But the alien scientists stepped forward, their instruments glowing. They took the jug from his hand, scanning it with their devices. The machines hummed and beeped, lights flashing. The lead scientist's eyes widened. "This liquid, it contains proteins, fats, and sugars unlike anything in our diets," he whispered. "It is substance with energy powerful for growth," another added. The aliens gasped again, their suspicions rising even higher. "Why would humans have access to such a thing unless it came from themselves?" someone shouted. The chef clenched his fists, anger rising. He felt trapped, caged by ignorance and fear. Every word he spoke was twisted. Every truth he offered was turned into another lie. The alien girl smirked, confident she was winning. "You see," she cried, "they hide it, but the evidence speaks for itself." The human leader stood up from the back of the chamber, a woman with a strong voice and commanding presence. She raised her hand, silencing both sides. "If you demand proof, then we will show you," she declared. "But you must be ready for the truth, and the truth will not be what you expect." The room leaned forward, the air thick with suspense. The human leader turned to the chef, nodding firmly. "Bring the cow," she said. The hall exploded with noise, aliens gasping, humans whispering. A cow? In the council chamber? Impossible. Ridiculous. Yet it was the only way. Minutes later, guards led a calm brown cow into the hall. The animal's hooves echoed against the stone floor. Its large dark eyes blinked slowly as it looked around at the stunned crowd. The aliens recoiled in shock, some covering their mouths. Never had they seen such a creature. Gentle yet massive. The chef approached the cow with careful hands. He spoke softly to it, patting its side. Then, with practiced ease, he began to milk it into a bowl. The sound of liquid striking the metal rang through the silent chamber. The aliens froze, their eyes wide, their hearts pounding. The bowl filled quickly with the same white liquid. The alien girl stumbled back, her voice breaking. This cannot be." The council leader's hands trembled as he reached for the bowl. He lifted it to his lips, tasting the liquid, his face twisted in shock, then wonder. "It is the same," he said. "It is milk, yet it comes not from him but from this creature." The chamber erupted into chaos. Some aliens screamed in disgust, others cried out in awe. The scientists rushed forward, scanning the cow, whispering rapidly. The alien girl stood frozen, her confidence cracking, her world twisting. But even as the truth was revealed, new questions rose. If humans could command creatures to give them such powerful food, what else could they command? What other secrets had they bent the universe to reveal? The demonstration had ended the rumor, but it had also planted a deeper fear. The alien girl's voice returned, trembling yet loud. "Then humans are even more dangerous than I thought. They bend other species to serve them, to give life for their survival. What kind of power is this?" The chamber grew cold, the laughter was gone. The rumor was no longer a joke. It had become something far more dangerous. The truth had been shown, but instead of peace, it left the colony shaken, and in the shadows of the chamber, powerful leaders whispered to each other. "Perhaps we must prepare," one said softly. "For if humans can take milk from beasts, what will they take from us?" The cow's demonstration had silenced the laughter, but it had not silenced the fear. The aliens filled the council chamber with sharp whispers, their voices cutting through the air like knives. Some clutched their robes tightly, others shook their heads in disgust. To them, the truth was more horrifying than the rumor. One alien elder stood, his tall frame casting a shadow across the chamber. His eyes glowed with accusation as he pointed at the humans. "You bend mothers of another species to serve you. he said coldly. You take their gift of life and feed yourselves with it. The crowd gasped in agreement, their voices rising in anger. The human leader stood tall, her voice strong. No, you misunderstand. Our cows live with us. They are not slaw. Vez, they are companions. We give them food, shelter, safety, and in return, they share their milk with us. But her words felt hollow to the aliens, for in their eyes milk was sacred, something no child should ever drink unless given by its mother. The alien girl's voice rang out, trembling but fierce. You dress your cruelty as kindness, but you take from creatures who cannot refuse. Is that not slavery? Is that not power forced upon the weak? Her words sent ripples through the crowd. Aliens nodded. Some even hissed at the humans. The chef clenched his fists, his anger rising again. He stepped forward, his voice breaking with frustration. You don't understand. Our bond with animals is built on care, not chains. We do not starve them. We do not beat them. We protect them. We share life with them. He looked around desperately. Without them, we would have died long ago. Without them, our children would not survive. The aliens were unmoved. One scientist shouted, You speak of survival, but what if survival demands cruelty? What else have you taken from the creatures of your world? Blood, flesh, bones? The humans fell silent. The truth hung heavy in the chamber, because the answer was yes. Humans had taken all those things from animals, and more. The alien girl seized the silence, her voice sharp like a blade. You see? They admit it without words. They feed on the lives of others, and now they bring their ways here. What will happen to our worlds if we allow them to spread? The chamber erupted into chaos again. Aliens shouted in fear. Some demanded the humans be expelled. Others demanded restrictions. The humans shouted back, their voices filled with anger and pain. The council leader slammed his staff against the floor, the sound echoing like thunder. Silence, he commanded. The noise fell, but the tension remained heavy. He looked at the humans with a gaze sharp as steel. You claim kindness, but your ways are alien to us, to you. It is survival. To us, it is horror. The human leader took a deep breath. Eth, her eyes burning with pride. Yes, we eat flesh. We drink milk. We break the earth to grow food. We fight storms. We bend fire. We are not ashamed. We survive. We adapt. We endure. Her voice grew louder, shaking the chamber walls. And that is why humanity still lives while many of your empires have fallen. The words struck the aliens like lightning. They had expected denial, excuses, or shame. Instead, they were met with defiance, with pride. The alien girl stepped back, her certainty shaken but her fear stronger than ever. She whispered, almost too quietly. Then maybe that is why humans are so dangerous, because they survive not only through strength but through taking, through bending all life to their will. The whisper spread like fire, carried from ear to ear. Soon the whole chamber repeated the same thought. Humans bend all life to their will. The humans stood surrounded, not by weapons but by suspicion sharper than any blade. The chef looked at the alien girl, anger in his chest but sorrow in his eyes. Her misunderstanding had become a wildfire, and no truth seemed strong enough to stop it. As the council meeting ended, one final decree was made. The aliens demanded more answers, more demonstrations, more secrets revealed. Until then, humans would no longer be trusted freely. They would be watched, studied, and questioned at every step. The chef walked out of the chamber, the cow beside him. The crowd parted, staring at him with a mixture of awe and fear. Children no longer laughed. They hid behind their parents, whispering, "Milkman," they said quietly, but no longer with joy, only with unease. The alien girl stood in the shadows, her eyes locked on him. For a moment, doubt flickered in her heart, but she crushed it quickly. Better to fear humans than to trust them, she thought. Better to see them as dangerous than to let them fool her pull. Yet as she turned away, her mind spun with new questions. If humans truly cared for the creatures they used, why did those creatures obey them? What kind of bond existed between them? And could such a bond be turned into a weapon if humanity ever chose to betray the galaxy? The seeds of mistrust had been planted deeper than ever. The colony was no longer divided by laughter, but by fear, and in the coming days that fear would spread far beyond one settlement. It would reach ships in orbit, councils on distant planets, and leaders of powerful empires, all asking the same dangerous question. If humans can bend the beasts of their own world, what will stop them from bending us? The council chamber was empty now, but the whispers had not faded. Outside, the colony was alive with arguments and debates. Aliens filled the streets, pointing at humans, their voices filled with both fear and fascination. The rumor had changed shape. It was no longer a joke, no longer just suspicion. It had become a mystery. Some aliens spoke with anger, calling humans cruel. Others whispered with awe, saying humans must hold knowledge no other species possessed. Children repeated the words they had overheard, their small voices carrying questions the adults could not answer. Why do humans survive when others fall? What else do they hide? The alien girl walked alone through the night. Her heart was restless, her mind heavy with questions. She had shouted boldly in the council. She had accused humans of cruelty. But now, in the silence of her own thoughts, doubt began to creep in. She remembered the human children, their bright eyes shining with health, their laughter strong. She remembered how the cow had leaned gently into the chef's hands, not in pain, but in trust. It made no sense to her. How could a creature serve willingly? How could humans share life with animals instead of destroying them? The next morning, she returned to the human settlement in secret. She watched from behind a wall as the chef worked. He moved calmly, feeding the cow, patting its side, speaking softly as if it were his friend. When the animal nuzzled against him, her chest tightened with confusion. There was no fear in its eyes, only calm. The alien girl whispered to herself, "Is this really slavery, or is it something else? Something I do not understand." Her thoughts were interrupted by the laughter of children. She turned and saw the human young ones again, drinking milk, sharing food, smiling without fear. The scene was simple, yet powerful. These humans looked so fragile compared to other species, yet they thrived. They survived storms, hunger, and even war. Could this strange bond with other creatures be the reason why? That night, the council scientists gathered again. They spoke of their findings, their voices filled with unease. The milk of humans' beasts is more than food. It is fuel for growth. It strengthens the weak, heals the sick, and carries energy far beyond our own crops. Their words shocked the council. If humans had access to such resources, then perhaps their survival was not just cruelty, but brilliance. The alien leaders argued fiercely. One shouted, "They are dangerous. They bend life itself to their will." Another replied, "Perhaps, but maybe that is why they have endured while we struggle." The chamber burned with debate, but no answer could be agreed upon. Meanwhile, the alien girl stood in silence at the edge of the meeting. Her heart pounded as she realized her once simple accusation had grown into something much larger. She had started this storm, and now it threatened to engulf them all. But deep inside, another thought began to bloom. What if humans were not dangerous because they took, but powerful because they shared? She remembered the chef's words spoken with anger yet honesty. We survive, we adapt, we endure. The words echoed in her mind like thunder. The next day, she approached the chef quietly. He looked at her with tired eyes, still angry, still wounded by her accusations. Yet she bowed her head slightly, her voice softer than before. "I saw how you treat the creature. It does not fear you, it trusts you. I do not understand, but maybe I was wrong." The chef blinked, surprised by her tone. He did not answer with anger, only with a weary sigh. "We are not perfect," he said. "We have made mistakes, but we survive because we learn. We build bonds. We care even when it hurts us." His words carried no pride, only truth. And for the first time, the alien girl felt her heart shift. She walked away in silence, but her mind was louder than ever. If humans truly shared bonds with creatures and children alike, then maybe their survival was not cruelty. Maybe it was something the galaxy had never understood, and maybe it was the reason humanity was feared and respected at the same time. That night she stood on the balcony of her quarters, the stars stretched above her, endless and cold. She whispered into the dark, "Maybe humans are not monsters. Maybe they are something greater." But even as respect began to grow in her heart, fear still lingered in the hearts of others. The rumor had spread beyond the colony, reaching ships, councils, and distant empires. And while some now looked at humanity with curiosity, others prepared their fleets with suspicion. The galaxy was watching, the galaxy was waiting, and the smallest misunderstanding had now become a question that could decide the fate of many worlds. The galaxy was no longer silent. Rumors of human males and their strange milk had traveled far beyond one small colony, across distant stars. Alien councils whispered, fleets prepared, and scientists argued endlessly. Was humanity dangerous, or was humanity carrying a strength the galaxy had never known? Back in the colony, the tension had reached its peak. The humans lived under watchful eyes, every step measured, every word questioned. The alien girl felt the weight of her mistake pressing on her shoulders. What had begun as a curious question had grown into a storm that threatened to tear two species apart. The council called one final gathering. The hall was filled with leaders from many worlds, their robes shining with authority, their eyes sharp with suspicion. At the center stood the human leader, calm but fierce, her people standing behind her. The alien girl was called too, trembling as she stepped forward. The council leader spoke with thunder in his voice. Humanity stands accused of bending life to their will, of enslaving creatures for their survival, of hiding truths from the galaxy. He turned to the humans, his voice sharp. You must speak now, for all to hear. Why should we trust you? The chamber fell silent, all eyes fixed on the humans. The chef stepped forward, his heart pounding. He looked not at the council, not at the leaders, but at the alien children who sat in the back, wide-eyed and waiting. He spoke with simple words, his voice steady. We are not the strongest. We are not the fastest. We are not the oldest, he said. We bleed, we fall, we suffer. Yet we live. We survive not because we conquer, but because we share. He held up a cup of milk, shining white in the council light. This is not power. This is not cruelty. This is survival. This is care. We share it with our children. We share it with our friends. And if you let us, we will share it with the galaxy. Gasps filled the room. The alien scientists leaned forward, their eyes wide. The alien girl felt her chest tighten, tears burning at the edge of her eyes. For the first time, she truly understood what he meant. The human leader stepped beside him, her voice carrying like a blade of fire. We do not hide our strength. Our strength is simple. We adapt, we endure, and we lift others with us. While empires fall to pride and cruelty, humanity survives because we know the value of life, not just our own, but all life around us. The council chamber erupted into debate. Some shouted with fear, warning that such survival made humans too dangerous. Others whispered with awe, realizing that this strange way of living was not weakness, but greatness. The alien girl raised her hand, her voice trembling but loud enough to cut through the noise. I was wrong, she said. I thought humans were hiding a secret weapon, but I see now their secret is not hidden. It is in plain sight. It is in their bonds, in their care, in their endless fight to endure. She turned to the council, her voice firm. They are not dangerous because they enslave. They are powerful because they share. And maybe that is the power we all need. The hall grew quiet, the words sinking deep into every ear. The alien leader looked long at the humans, his eyes heavy with thought. At last, he spoke slowly. Then humanity will not be chained, but neither will they be left unwatched. We will learn from them. We will test their words. And if they are true, then perhaps the galaxy will change. The council ended, but the galaxy had already begun to shift. Rumors no longer painted humans only as monsters. Now they painted them as survivors, as teachers, as strange allies who could turn weakness into strength. The alien girl walked beside the chef as they left the chamber. She glanced at him, her voice soft. Your milk. It was never about power, was it? The chef smiled faintly, shaking his head. No, it was about survival, about hope, about giving tomorrow a chance. She lowered her gaze, ashamed of her mistake, but grateful for the lesson. Then maybe tomorrow belongs to you, she whispered. Above them, ships carried the story across the stars. A simple misunderstanding had become a legend, and in every corner of the galaxy, beings of every kind repeated the same words. Humans survive, humans adapt, humans endure. The final truth was clear now. Humanity's greatest power was not hidden in their bodies, not in their weapons, not in their secrets. It was in their will to share, to care, to keep moving forward no matter the cost. The galaxy would never look at them the same way again. And for the first time in history, aliens whispered not with fear, but with reluctant respect. The story that began with a question ended with a truth that could not be denied. Humans were dangerous, yes, but not because of milk. They were dangerous because nothing, not fear, not doubt, not even the galaxy itself could stop them from surviving.